Hello everybody, I am back. I'm sorry for not posting in like over a week. I think I've been posting some Cobra Kai videos on the other channel. Be sure to go and check that out, link in the description. But anyways, we are back with another matchup that Death Battle has yapped about, and this matchup actually kind of blew up on Twitter, so I decided to talk about it and why this matchup is not fair at all. Honestly, this is the most like hydrogen bomb coughing baby-esque matchup we've seen in a minute. And I don't really know Sonic scaling that well, but I already knew this matchup was not fair because most of the time when you compare video game characters to manga characters, it just gets a little messy. Since my Sonic knowledge is kind of lacking today, I have my GOAT Godspeed to help me out. Now, he's not going to be on the video, but he is the one who provided the majority of the scaling on this video, along with Diggs. Both of them have been on my live streams, which you can catch them along with me answering a bunch of versus battle questions along with playing video games if you are a member. But if you don't care for the past streams and just want to catch the weekly ones, be sure to keep notifications on along with subscribing to the channel. Anyway, enough yapping, let's get into the matchup. To start us off, I'll use Cell, whose scaling is very easy to break down. If we are using the manga only, we know that his Solar Kamehameha was confirmed to wipe out at least the solar system. This was before he put more power into the attack as well, meaning he should be well into solar system level, since this is not only confirmed in the manga, but in also numerous guides. In the manga, his scaling is pretty cut and dry, but today we're going to be, using a little bit more interesting scaling to make the matchup a little more fair. And rather with going exclusively with the manga, we will also be including the anime, which, I'm not gonna lie, in the anime, Cell can definitely be scaled a lot higher. For retrospect, we know that Cell in the manga is just blatantly Solar System Plus. But in the anime, a half-dead Namek Frieza was capable of surviving an explosion that can wipe out multiple solar systems, and this was a Frieza with 0 ki. And if you don't want to use calculations, then that's fine, as we even see Cell being stated multiple times throughout the anime to have the power to destroy the universe or have infinite power. In the anime specifically, I feel like it's a little more consistent to say that he's universal rather than solar system, but people will argue against it and just say, well, the anime isn't the original material, so who cares. For this video though, I'm going to be nice to Cell and grant him the universal scaling. But remember, this mainly works if we use the anime version of the character, not the manga. When it comes to speed, we know that Dragon Ball characters baseline have MFTL plus combat and reaction speeds, with universal characters and beyond having infinite speed more than likely. This is because the Dragon Ball universe is stated multiple times to be infinite in size, and since Cell was going to destroy this universe within a finite amount of time, then baseline he should have infinite speed. And I don't think there's any way to get Cell any higher, unless you think he scales to Jiren, who surpassed time, quote unquote, but anyway, as for his hacks, Cell not only has the combined cells of the Z fighters, he has their martial arts skill and even techniques, such as the Destructo Disc, Solar Flare, and the majority of their Ki Blast techniques, which do amplify his base power. He also has access to clones that are equal to himself in power, instant transmission, and along with Frieza's hacks such as death beams and telekinesis. He can also adapt techniques that he's seen on the fly like Goku, which makes sense as Goku even as a kid was able to imitate moves on the fly, along with himself having crazy regeneration. If Metal Sonic does not atomize him, Cell will just keep coming back stronger and stronger. Now, let's see if Jiro's ultimate creation can beat the greatest creation of Dr. Eggman. Eggman is so ugly, by the way. I'm sorry, bro. How is this people's goats? Anyway, we can get into Metal Sonic scaling, which for this video, I'll be using not only the main games, but the IW comics that are canon and take place throughout the games. Anywho, to first scale Metal Sonic, we gotta scale Sonic and a few other characters, as Metal Sonic scales to or upscales from the said character. Firstly, we know that Metal Sonic is just blatantly called Eggman's greatest creation, and this would mean that he's above Infinite, who's above Time Eater, who can obliterate time and space, along with all of reality. We know in Sonic, similar to Dragon Ball's cosmology, that the universe is at least infinite in size, and we know Infinite is above the Time Eater, who Sonic ends up power creeping as he gets rapidly more powerful, to which Eggman then decides to take Infinite's power source and then put it in the Death Egg, making him even stronger than before. And all of this power creeping would connect to Neo Metal Sonic, as he's not only implied to be a stronger enemy, but a greater creation, meaning he'd upscale from characters who'd massively upscale from Time Eater, who can at least threaten all of reality. Now, Sonic would initially be superior to this Metal Sonic, but then we'd see Neo Metal Sonic adapt and close the gap between him and Sonic. And with the Chaos Emeralds, or the Master Emerald, he's able to undergo transformations and reach a seemingly perfect state similar to Cell. In the Super form, he folds Sonic and Knuckles at once, and this Sonic should be stronger considering he grows throughout his battles. Meanwhile, in his Master Emerald state, he somehow body slams Sonic, Shadow, and Knuckles at the same time, who all should be at least kind of relative to one another. They only specifically defeat him by depowering him, and he gets caught off guard in the other form I was talking about. Although Metal Sonic needs outside help to achieve these forms, base Metal Sonic ends up scaling to a stronger Sonic anyway and performing similar feats to the amped version of himself. So yes, even in base, he should at least massively upscale from these universal to low multiversal beings. As far as speed goes, like Dragon Ball, they have easy MFTL plus stuff, with Sonic being known to legit move through beyond time and travel through it. And Metal Sonic should be capable of whatever Sonic can do it to be. For more context, even beings that we've gone over like the Time Eater can move through the dimension of time, and Sonic can travel through space-time in order to restore said space-time. So baseline, he should have a measurable speed. Similar to Cell, in terms of hacks, Metal Sonic does have a lot of versatility. With Chaos Control, he can slow and control time, has invulnerability, shockwaves, along with ESP and intangibility due to copying Silver and SBO's abilities. He can also use Maximum Overdrive, which allows him to boost his speed by 4 times and grant him the abilities Chaos Control previously gave him, such as warping/teleportation, time stop, and also time travel. But to be fair, this only applies to Neo Metal Sonic and not base Metal Sonic. But regardless of which Metal Sonic you are using, he should have the ability of copying other people's powers and biodata, similar to Cell himself. He probably has a lot more that I didn't mention, but if it wasn't obvious enough, I don't think the hacks are really too relevant here. When it comes to comparing these two in power, it just simply isn't a debate. While Cell is at best universal with his strongest attack, we have characters Metal Sonic is massively upscaling from that are wiping out time and space itself, along with just threatening reality on a much larger scale than Cell. Even if we downplayed Metal Sonic and said he's baseline uni, he'd be higher into universal than Cell, plus he'd be infinitely faster than him as he has a measurable speed. Cell, even before thinking of making a move, is going to get hit once and get that Metal Cooler to Vegeta treatment. And obviously if we give Metal Sonic his amps and his other forms, then he can just use time hacks to deal with them much easier, or just defeat him however he feels like. For the Sonic fans who are mad that I went over such basic scaling and I'm downplaying your GOAT, I'm sorry, I just wanted to mainly emphasize how pointless this match was by high-balling Cell and low-balling Metal Sonic. Anywho, Cell gets one-shot by a tin can. Thank you for watching. Let me know if you want me to do Goku versus Sonic. I really don't want to do Goku versus Sonic.